Here we have some instructions, hopefully to make your life a bit easier when assembling your Hozelock garden sprayer. Is really good. It's the Hozelock. This one we have here is the 5 litre, and they're really well put together. We've got various ones that we use at work here, and they all work great. We've had a few of them for years, so they come with a 1-year guarantee, but I would imagine that you'll never have to replace this. In your instructions, it tells you what you have. If any of these pieces are missing, just contact Hozelock. They're really good. They'll send you out anything that might not be there. So this is the instructions for the 5 litre, 7 litre and 10 litre. And there are the codes: 4505, 4507 and 4510. Just they're all exactly the same. This is the first little piece that comes with it. This isn't attached when you get it, but we've just done this because it can take a bit of pushing on. So there's a little part on it that is in the shape of a nipple. You just push that down, make sure it's sitting on right, and that's what you expect it to look like once it's on, because it's going to be quite a tight fit, otherwise it would leak. So the next step is you get the other end of the hose and you push that down along it, and that goes on there nice and snug. And that part, then you put it into the end of the gun, and just to show you, that goes in there, and you just try and make sure it's straight. It kind of only can go in one way, but if you don't put it in straight, it's going to leak. So again, this tightens up, and you want to really make sure it's tight. It's nice and snug. So yeah, just hand tight, but make sure it is tight. So next step then is we're going to put this part onto here. So what you do is you put that through there, and that fits down. So it pushes down into the other end of the gun. Just give you a look at the layout of it. So that part, again, you put that down, and that will tighten as it goes down along. Just make sure it's in properly. These ones can be quite long on some of the 10 litre in particular. If you think it's too long, just get a hacksaw and just cut it down a little bit, because sometimes it's a bit easier to control them when they're a bit shorter, and we often do that. This one isn't being cut, it's just the size it came as. So this is the spray end, leave that as it is. And this end here, you undo that, you push that through there, and this will go in there. Even if you first do it and you think, oh, that's not going in, it will. There you go, and you hear that kind of click. That means up the top. Again, tighten it up, and you want to tighten this again hand tight, and just make sure it is tight enough, because again, if that is, just make sure they're all tight, straighten it out, level it, so it should be all kind of level. And if you undo it, just make sure that's tight enough at the top as well. Just make sure everything is tight. And if you undo anything, just make sure before you go to use it the first time that it is all straight and it's tight enough. And this is the last stage. So if you see there, this is all perfectly assembled. Then we grab this part, and if you see, you've got this little opening here. That gets pushed in. I'm sorry. See, it can happen to the best of us. So look, that part with the lines goes in first, and you push that right down. There should be no gap. Again, don't hit it with a hammer or anything, just push it in, make sure it's in right. Sorry. And this part, this smaller opening, goes down over the hose. And to show you, this hose goes over this nipple. Again, make sure it's right in. Don't be surprised if it's quite tight, as you should be, and it's gotta be. We often put you can put a little bit of Vaseline around the edges of that, and that makes it slide on nice and easy. Petroleum jelly. So you just screw that on. This is actually quite a difficult one to screw on, because you can't actually get your hands in, so just try and hold it up near the top, and that's very commonplace for it to leak if it's not on right. If you find that it is leaking, even though you think that's tight, I would undo it and make sure that the first part was put in right. So And there you go, and this is the final little piece. And that is actually really, really tight to get on there. Again, you can put a bit of Vaseline on there. But what we do is we just grab a little taps, tap, tap, tap. Perfect. But if you had a bit of Vaseline on there, not too much because you don't want to sliding off. And what that thing does is it holds this. So, all right, lovely. Thank you very much.